looks like the
way smarter.
This is your
A supervised home.
Pause for a second. Look at the progress bar of this video. You probably already want to leave. And look, that's not your fault. That reflex, that's a virus. And no, this video isn't going to tell you to quit social media or move into the Alaskan mountains. I'm not talking about a dopamine loop, and I'm not going to tell you about a meditation technique. I'm going to show you a series of invisible concepts, destroys your creativity, influences your every action, and just maybe how to find a way out. Alright, let's zoom out for a second. The title of this video is also the title of an essay written by Richard Dawkins in 1991. In that essay, Dawkins basically argues that ideas behave like viruses. They spread, they protect themselves, and they don't care about whether or not they're true. They just care about surviving. In the essay, he says for a virus to spread, it needs a few things. First, it needs a host that can process information. Biologically, this is the nucleus of a cell. That's where genetic information gets read, copied, and executed. Without that environment, the virus can't do anything. In computers, it's the same idea. You need hardware, a processor, memory, somewhere that the code can actually run. Once the host is infected, the virus infiltrates into the deepest crevices of the user. Then it attempts to conceal itself, burying under anything it can find. Once it is protected, then it replicates, seeping into every open port of the host, and eventually spreading to others. But I don't think Dawkins went far enough in his essay. Because Dawkins was a famous atheist, that essay was more about just his distaste for religion. What I'm talking about is not just religion. What I'm saying is that your entire reality is constructed by these viruses. Think about what your actions are controlled by for a second. I mean, literally speaking, they're controlled by you, but I mean, what drives them? Typically, it's either money, love, power, or revenge. But none of these are real. Look, let's start with the easy one. Money's just a piece of paper backed by a fictional entity. If we take away those constructs, we're left with nothing. But even if we take something like love or revenge, it doesn't exist in reality. It's not on the elemental chart.
It's not fucking real.
If we just juiced you up with enough serotonin and dopamine, you'd forget all about that girl. Think of a lie that somebody told you. It could be literally anything. Imagine you're friends with a girl, let's call her Ashley, and you think she's kinda cute. And you tell that to your friend, let's call him Kevin. Kevin lies to you and he says, nah man, don't go after her, she cheated on her last boyfriend. So you go on with your life, maybe you avoid Ashley a little bit, maybe you stop texting her so much. But without you realizing it, Kevin had installed a small, targeted virus in your mind. Because whether or not what he said was true is kind of irrelevant. What's important is that you believed it, and that belief quietly changed your actions. You allowed that idea to propagate inside of your mind and possibly even spread to others. This simple lie is the most basic form of a mind virus. Now this may seem basic or silly, but really think about it. Kevin was able to plant an idea in your mind and influence your decisions without you even realizing it. In 2002, Dick Cheney told the American people that Saddam Hussein was in possession of weapons of mass destruction. He said that we needed to act now in order to defend our
freedom and our security.
We then invaded Iraq, spent $2.9 trillion in nearly 9 years trying to find these WMDs that we knew didn't exist. Over 200,000 people died, and during that time, Lockheed Martin, a weapons manufacturer, recorded an increase in profits of 41%. It also didn't hurt that after we took down the Iraqi government, we were able to implement oil policy that benefits the United States to this day. The Bush administration was able to create a mind virus so powerful that they could convince millions of Americans that we needed to go to war with a country we didn't even care about. In the end, we realized we'd been tricked into hating a government for an imaginary reason while the big players made billions. These mind viruses are everywhere. Your reality is constantly being shifted by these narratives and lies that silently shape your actions. And the people and groups that are creating these ultra-powerful mind viruses don't have to be working together in some evil lair like a Bond villain. If they have similar or aligned goals, they'll already be working together by default. If you and a random person both care about global warming and saving the environment, and you both work to reduce your carbon footprint, you're working towards a common goal without actually colluding together. You don't need a big network of people. You just need a small group of powerful people motivated by the same things. Ideas don't spread because they're true. They spread because they change belief. And if you can influence somebody's beliefs, you can influence their actions. And if you can influence their actions, you can create a pattern of behavior. A pattern that will spread and spread until eventually you've influenced an entire population. These viruses don't exist in conflict, they support each other. This is why political parties exist and why they're so divided.
News stories plaguing our country.
Extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. No one is safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe.
Nobody is safe.
If you can be infected by one idea, and that idea has buried itself deep enough in your mind, that makes you more susceptible to other mind viruses. Over time, this will weaken your immune system and make it much harder to defend against these viruses. And eventually, once you're so infected with all of these ideas, you may not even want the antidote anymore. We've been fed these ideas for so long that we just feel like we have to agree with everything our people do, and we have to hate the other side. We are slowly becoming unable to think for ourselves, to create, and to do anything new. These ideas might behave like viruses, but you're the host. Nothing spreads unless you let it. This means it isn't about them controlling you. It's about you leaving the door unlocked and making them tea while they rob you blind. Every scroll, every headline, every idea that you don't question, that's just another port being left open. The scary part isn't that these mind viruses exist. The scary part is how comfortable we've become with letting them think for us. They've been around for all human history. We've just become worse at fighting them off. So the next time you hear something that just deep down doesn't feel right, take a second, think deeply about it, and take it with a grain of salt. Because the moment you notice that virus, it loses all of its power. And the moment you stop noticing, it's already over. If you watched this far into the video, thank you. If you want to subscribe, you can. Thank you for watching.